my moments backstage before the show when it was just Amy and I, and just feeling that magic and excitement and you know, before lights up, that was my nicest memory there.
I think if I had to pick one, it would be just our little cast lunch/party between the two shows on Saturday. It's just a lot of fun, everyone just joking around, and when we gave Veronica the map that we made her, that made us all really happy to see how much she loved it.
Mark and I had a habit at this point of playing chess backstage to relax and take our minds off of things, and I said to him, I think I'm finally getting the first scene, you know, after however many months of rehearsal and productions, and he just looked at me and smirked and said, dude, you've had it since day one, you're just up in your own head about it. And I thought, great.
Definitely, hands down, the proposal that happened at our second show. Mark proposing to Lauren completely surprised her on stage, completely surprised the cast and the audience. The joy that came out of that moment was priceless.
I think the first time that I actually went and got some computer control assistance was for Ferndale. I had the feeling that I'd wake up the odd time and think, you know that little movie about the Wizard of Oz? Toto goes behind the curtain and you see that little guy freaking around with all those handles trying to get the flames right. I thought I was going to have to do that sort of an action, but the computer helped really well.
My best memory was when I turned up for the first time in full costume with the black ripped jeans and the black leather jacket and the long wig with the hair, and nobody recognized me, and it was amazing. It was really, really good for my ego because everybody thought I was like 20 years younger, which was awesome.
There was the one scene where I have this big, almost a verbal fight with Benedict after Hero's been slandered, and I'm all emotional and want him to basically kill his best friend. I'd been on stage a long time before that, just kind of like in the background, and then all of a sudden it comes out. So kind of mentally preparing myself to present this really emotional scene while not letting it appear to the audience that I'm preparing myself for coming. And then every time I came off stage, I would just be shaking, and I couldn't hold my glass of water to take a drink. It was an awful lot. It took a lot out of me every time, which was good, because therefore hopefully I think it was real every time. It was a highlight of my acting career, I think.
A very distinct one comes to mind. As a stage manager, the first thing I do when I get in is set my stage, my furniture's in place, my props are where they should be, the pillows are fluffed, and we're ready to go, and I go behind the scene. After the first scene, an actor comes back and tells me there's a Tim Hortons cup on the fireplace. I'm horrified. It's not something that I did, but nonetheless, it comes under my umbrella. Now, I'm not going to say which cast member left that Tim Hortons cup. Dustin. However, I had a really light moment afterwards because recently there was a Starbucks cup left in a scene of Game of Thrones. So, Game of Thrones, we did it first. Eat my dust.
Some of the actors looking at, you know, they wanted to do Shakespeare, but then after looking at the script said, oh dear, you know, I'm not going to understand some of these words, please help me out. But after a few rehearsals, they were really getting it. And by the end, they were speaking it like it was their modern English language. They really, really started to have fun with the characters. So the memories are going to be, you know, Jodie turning into this villain, Nick turning into a fantastic Don Pedro. I really think he did fantastic with Don Pedro. And Andy becoming Dogberry, and them just taking into these roles and the language, the script, the strange old English, not really coming into play in terms of difficulty, and them just taking on these characters and having a really, really fun time with the show.
One of my best memories was actually the very first time that we had all of us together in one space and did the reading. It was just amazing because it's only 4 characters, 4 powerful, strong female characters played by 4 amazing actresses, and to have all that in the same room with Sky directing, and I just, from the read through, it just felt right and it felt magical.
I think the operative word here is memory. A lot of the actors in this group were, well, we're getting on, and memorizing lines was often a challenge with a few. So it was like every performance was different because the cues were different, the lines were different. It was interesting, but we got through it.
The moments backstage also very, very memorable. Everyone was so excited and just jumping up and down behind the curtain until we could all come out, and that's really special.
I remember Caitlin, I forget her last name, she's a part of the cast, she's a she's a Small Fox 4, she's one of my kids. Every time I always forget that her line is there, so I say it before her. So she's always like, hey, it's my line. I'm like, I'm sorry. So that's something I do a lot, so yeah.